Point Break is a solid 10 out of 10. Not in terms of quality storytelling, but in terms of done classic cheesy cinema fun. How is this the story? Well, the story is more of a 5 out of 10 in terms of a classic, well-written story. Like Star Wars sequels. Trilogy. More or less. No, wait, I'll take it back. It's... because I'm still on the debate on that, okay? For the entire trilogy, okay? So... it's a 10 out of 10 the same way Thor Ragnarok is. As in, the story might be shit. A lot of things don't really make sense, but in the of the beauty, wonderful will from beauty of suspension of disbelief, you need to bend reality in order for it to make sense. And doing so becomes a 10 out of 10, and I haven't really slept today, so I'm not sure if I'm understanding what I'm saying. But the point is, this is a 5 out of 10 in reality. But in Fantasyland, it's a 10 out of 10. Like Forrest Gump. Or Good Will Hunting. Or Titanic from James Cameron. Even though that's a 0 out of 10 in reality, in Fantasyland, it's a 10 out of 10. Forrest Gump is a 0 out of 10, but in Fantasyland, it's a 10 out of 10 for being good old fun. But now, for Good Will Hunting, maybe a 5 out of 10 in reality, so as means mediocre at best. But in Fantasyland and out of suspension of disbelief land, it'll always be a 10 out of 10. And the same goes for Point Break from 1991. The original. Story makes more of a love story, making... you know, it feels like more like a porn movie. You know, it has a lot of sex, lots of flirting, and lots of nudity with a man and a woman. Except the one has poor, ugly posture, makes her look very more manly-like than a feminine-like. As in, she's kind of ugly, but she has poor posture and needs to get that fixed before she becomes a Igor. A henchman. Or a henchwoman in this case. I'm funny. You know how I said Ghost Rider is a 5 out of 10? The movies with Nicolas Cage? Why I gave it a 10 out of 10 also before in the past. And I still stand by it. It's a 10 out of 10 in Follow Land, but it's a 5 out of 10 in Reality Land of the living. Because the real world sucks. Sort of like how, what's that movie called? Taxi Driver? The one with Robert De Niro. How that's a 5 out of 10, but really in Fantasyland and suspension of disbelief, it's a 10 out of 10. Or like, you know how Freaky Friday, all Freaky Friday movies, except for the 2018, because I haven't seen that one yet, fucking 0 out of 10, but in reality, in Fantasyland, it's a 10 out of 10. For guilty pleasures. These can be. All of these. Or like how, you know, Man on the Moon is, I give it a 0 out of 10, but I also give it a 10 out of 10 also. I told you I recommend it, but also I told you not to see it because It's a piece of shit of a movie, and it's also a 10 out of 10 because it's a piece of a shit of a movie. Even though it's a 0 out of 10. Because it's fun to watch. And funny. But it's stupid at the same time, and the characters doesn't make any sense. And the story doesn't make any sense, and everything's fucking stupid and retarded as fuck. The logic when the characters in the film. That's why it gets a 0 out of 10. But in suspension of disbelief fun timeland, it gets a 10 out of 10. For being dumb fun. Like the rest of these movies in this video. Yes. And that's my review on these movies. I forgot what I'm going to tell this. I go into more than one review. But these get a 10 out of 10. Some more or less get 5 out of 10. For an actual quality of movie. But for a fun movie, it gets a 10 out of 10, all these movies. But for some movies get 0 out of 10s in reality because of the story structure and everything. And others get 5 out of 10, like Good Will Hunting. You're welcome. I had fun doing this. Goodbye. Thumbs up for this video and subscribe to my channel, please.